Hello and welcome. I'm Tafarag Damum. The Ethiopian Teachers Association claims a membership of hundreds of thousands, and it's been around for a very long time. But how is it faring? My guest today, Yohannes Benti, is the president of the association. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're presiding over an institution, over an association, probably the oldest in Ethiopia, right? The Ethiopian Teachers Association.
Yes.
How many members does it have now?
Now we have more than 430 members from pre-primary up to university altogether.
430,000?
Yeah, more than that, yeah.
These 430,000 teachers are from across the country, right?
Yes.
Teachers, government schools, public schools, right? Not private ones.
Few teachers from the private institutions are already organized, but almost all of them could be considered as public institution teachers, yes.
The number of private schools is increasing in this country, and obviously there is quite a figure of teachers out there. Why don't you bring them aboard?
Yes, we are planning to do that. But the priority was for us, the government institution, teachers and teaching personnel, because as you have already said, majority of the teachers belong to the public institution, and that was the priority. But we are also planning to organize teachers in the private schools and private institutions.
So your members are not only teachers, but also these are the staff in schools, right? They are also part of the...
Yes, we call them as support members. The full members are the teachers who enjoy the academic performance, and those who have been teachers once and then who are in the teaching offices are also have the right to be members, but they are considered as support members.
So all teachers serving in public schools across the country are members of your association, right?
Yes.
Nobody's left.
I mean, yes, this is all about freedom of association, and there are some who are still not members, but we encourage all teachers and teaching personnel in Ethiopian schools to be members of Ethiopian Teachers Association.
Why are they not members of the association?
It's up to them, because they have to be willing enough for themselves to be members. This is also constitutional right, and it used to be that all personnel in the teaching profession by acclamation were members, but now it is not the case. But we encourage our leadership at different levels are supposed to tell them why they need to be organized for their rights as well as for their profession. So until the time that they really understand what the Teachers Association is doing, and it is after that they are encouraged to be organized. So there are some few who are still not members.
Yet they represent a voice, right?
Yes, of course they are.
Do they think perhaps that your institution is toothless and there is not it?
Yes, but the reason why they are not members is they know themselves. I don't know why, but I don't think that ETA is a strong and vanguard to the education and to the members. So it has a strong international affiliation, and internally and externally is so strong. So, but you need to give them time to see how the organization is doing and then get organized.
Let's talk about your strength then. What does your strength lie? I mean, are you strong enough to engage the government, to be able to protect the rights of teachers in the country? Are you strong enough to negotiate with the government, with other institutions and stakeholders?
Yes, I believe. The strength comes from members. The strength of the members themselves. The teachers' organization across the globe are influential, and Ethiopian Teachers Association is not different. Look, this profession is the mother profession for all professions, and teachers are the key to development. An organization, working for these teachers, working for this profession, is by default expected to be strong and influential, and actually I feel that we are doing that. Yes.
Can we be a little bit more specific? Because teaching is not an enviable job. I don't envy your job. Many people don't envy your job, right? And there is so much attrition and so on. And you've been negotiating with the government to protect the rights of teachers and so on. But it took you quite a time to be able to at least get some benefits for the teachers. I'm talking about, for example, the salary scale that you have instituted a few years ago.
Yes, you're right. The profession has been that was really celebrated and it's a matriarch profession, but through time it is getting deteriorated. But there is no way out. The teaching profession is basic to all professions, and both the teachers themselves and all the concerned authorities should consider it seriously. One of the important things to be considered is, as you have recently mentioned, about the salary. For that, we have conducted a study, by hiring consultants, and we've tried to see where the problem is, and then we managed to at least to improve the salary of, rather the skill of teachers. The career ladder for teachers were right after a year after the release of the new education and training policies, there was career structure released that has 6 ladders. But later on, gradually we increased from 6 to 7. Now, 10 months ago, we've managed to increase up to 9. That is the career ladder for all civil servants. And this is one achievement. Through this scale rise, then there was a corresponding increase of salary. Well, I understand that we need to work further on salary, but salary is not the only motivating factor.
What else is a motivating factor? I know, they are still, no matter how much you've increased the salary scale, the career ladder and so on, improved on it, they continue to be underpaid, considering what they do as teachers.
Yes, of course. That's what we are pushing for. Because of the demand from the profession, that the profession is a mother to all professions, then further improvements should be made. That is what we are working on still. But besides that, the issue of providing housing for teachers, which is very key in creating working conditions, better working conditions for teachers. So we've managed to also have produced a scheme to provide housing for teachers. You may have heard in Addis Ababa, for example, there were 5,000 condominiums who were provided to teachers. But this negotiation has started long years ago. And this was really made public some 9 years ago, 8 years ago, when we celebrated the 60th year founding anniversary in the presence of the former Prime Minister, His Excellency Meles Zenawi. There was a gathering of some 3,000 participants, whereby we clearly raised the issue of salary and the issue of housing, and that was really publicly broadcast through radio and television. And since then we have been negotiating, and we were really successful in having a full document that was really endorsed by the federal government, and because the land is in the hands of the region, so it was transferred to regions, and regions cabinets have been endorsing the document, and then based on their availability and the scheme they were able to provide, then they are doing on this matter, and that we feel that it is very key. Providing housing is very key, even is better motivating than salary, because when you increase salary, other things also alongside increases. So I feel that this was really the strong push and the negotiation we have made through time, and we are successful in this regard. And still, we need to work hard.
Interesting. Okay, housing is important, but sometimes it's not as important as the freedom that teachers need to have in their work environment, in their schools. For example, we're talking about universities too. Yes. Is there any academic freedom out there?
Yes, this is very delicate. This comes from the strong leadership of the institutions, starting from presidents from the universities, at university level, if you like, and from the school principals at secondary schools or primary school levels. They are better trained, they are better equipped to answer the questions of teachers, what the teachers want, so have to provide quality education.
So do you engage those the leadership in the Ministry of Education, the university and so on, to create that kind of
yes, there are avenues for
atmosphere for academic freedom.
Yes, there are avenues to which we enter in this regard. For example, every year the Ministry of Education holds the Congress, Education Congress, On that Congress, we prepare reports on the success we have been made, on the challenges we encountered, on what the teachers are saying with regard to whatever problems they feel that it is existing in their respective schools or institutions. So we collect these problems and challenges and we report to the Congress, and in that Congress, university presidents, relevant individuals from the parliament or concerned authorities, regional education offices, heads, including them. So they are part of the meeting. So we report clearly and what challenges teachers are feeling. So through those avenues, then we are able to speak on behalf of the members, on behalf of the teachers.
Because I feel that's very important, considering the number of universities that we have across the country. Well, close to 40 universities.
Two now, yes, and moving up, yeah.
With that comes the issues I just raised. And I feel that's very important. And these are some of the things that your members tell you, right? To kind of engage the government and provide with that kind of an environment, right?
Yes.
So is the government listening?
I can say that it is, yes. No, when you increase this number of universities, you come across problems of, having sufficient university teachers, graduate assistants, providing them with necessary training, providing infrastructures, the beauty of the building, the laboratories, all those things. It's obvious that all of a sudden you cannot fulfill those things, but we encourage, as a teachers organization, that as fulfilling those necessary inputs as much as possible is also, in a way, creating a better teaching and research and community service environment at university level. And still, with regard to the number of enrollment at higher education level, we have still small. The number of universities we are having is not that much exaggerated compared to the number of enrollment that we need to have at university level. And yet, it is really massive. And it is really, in few years' time, these are a few countries who have managed to do that. So we have to, try to strike to the balance. But from the teachers' organization point of view, what we are always requesting is to have trained teachers to that level. The PhD, number of PhDs, number of masters holders. There is a plan, but usually there is something lagging behind, but we are pushing those issues on the agenda.
So also the issue of independence, higher institutions of learning need to be independent, right? Yes. And these are some of the issues that the professors raise from time to time.
Yes, there is a higher education proclamation that's already proclaimed by the competent authority. And universities have their own legislations, under which they are governed. They govern themselves. Yes, they are independent. We encourage their independency to the level that they provide research, they provide community services, and to the extent they train. But when it comes to community services, when it comes to service research, this independence is, should be put in quotation, because they need to collaborate with their surrounding community. They need to carry out research that is problem solving. So in a way, they are a bit integrated. Universities are also public institutions, and then when the government allocated some budget, then they also, you have to do that way. But what we encourage is for our service, yes, professors should be independent to the extent their profession requires. They have to do their responsibilities, the community services. So it is all interlinked.
So what worries you most as a president of the Ethiopian Teachers Association? It's one of the oldest of professions in Ethiopia. It's one of probably the oldest association in this country. And there are a number of things that come to mind when you think about schools, about education, and so on. For me, quality of education comes top on the list.
Of course.
Does that worry you a lot?
Surely. The issue of quality education is our priority agenda. And this quality education issue comes firstly from the quality of the teachers we have. And then the quality of the trainings being provided. There is a big question mark on this area. We have been organizing conferences, quality education conferences. I mean, every year we organize 2 education conferences, for example. One is a quality education conference. The other is also on the occasion of the World Teachers Day. We distribute call for papers identifying thematics.
That's in October, right?
Yes, that's in October. So these on these 2 events, we discuss on the quality issues. There are many papers coming up regarding the quality.
But you know that it's quite an issue.
It's quite an issue.
That you cannot address this through conferences. I mean, you need to work.
Yes. What we are doing is
on a different level.
Different level, yes. One of our action is we come up with the proceedings of the conference, and then provide to the policymakers and to the concerned authorities, Ministry of Education and other concerned authorities, the proceedings. Look, this is a challenge with quality education.
So what's the way out, do you think? What did you discover to be able to provide quality education?
For example, the training of the teachers should be improved. We have now in good terms with the Minister of Education that they are trying to address this issue. And we are still carrying out further research on the recruitment of the teachers. Like, for example, the primary school teachers, there is a big challenge, a big problem being raised at primary level. Other studies like the early grade reading assessment, you may have heard these things, that at primary grade 2 and 3, there are some students, quite large number, I mean, if not the majority, there are quite large number of students are unable to read. So where is the problem? One begins with the training. So the teachers being recruited at the primary level, to our understanding, is not at a good level. So we are conducting a research on that, and we come up with a solution. We have already started advocacy issues on these things. So quality education comes from quality teachers, quality and motivated teachers. Besides motivating teachers, that we already have in the system, then providing really proper training for them is the key to improving quality of education. So quality of education is an agenda, and it's a priority for us at the moment.
Is the government taking this seriously, though? Because there is so much talk about expansion, increasing the number of schools,
yes,
buildings, and so on.
Yes,
when it comes to quality education.
Yes,
is the Ministry of Education?
I think now they are considering it seriously.
Because it has never been the case up until a few years ago.
It's becoming the public agenda now. I mean, it's not only the teachers' agenda, it's not only the Ethiopian Teachers Association agenda, it's becoming public agenda. One evidence is that, for example, if you look at the quality improvement program, we have education sector development program. This is we are in the 5th education sector development program. So the last 2 programs, for example, focus, they also point to quality of education. And the general education quality improvement program, what we call, there are 6 programs now underway. So during the last 2 education sector development programs, this attempts being made. So it's now about 8-9 years. But Ethiopian Teachers Association has been raising this issue even before those programs. So when you look at this evidence, then yes, it is becoming a priority for the Ministry of Education as well. Why? It is becoming public agenda. Now we are not alone to talk about quality of education as professionals.
How about, of course, you need to be gender sensitive.
By the way, we have a gender week in Ethiopian Teachers Association. 1 box left for women teachers. Interestingly, on the topic you mentioned now, we have a project, school-related gender-based violence. The school-related gender-based violence, we are also part of the project that our mother organization, Education International at global level, was launching. And we are one of the 7 unions, one of the 7 teachers organizations in Africa who were part of this project. But interestingly, we have started already earlier that school-related gender-based violence is a problem in Ethiopian secondary schools. Why? We carried out a survey study on 7 schools, and the survey has showed us that there is a problem. And in some cases, also, our members are perpetuators. The school-related gender-based violence is quite complex, and we have been working on these issues. During the last year, for example, just recently, to speak to you recently, we have a project on 32 schools, and we carried out
in the capital or
in the country, distributed in the country. We had 10 schools from Oromia, 8 schools from Amara, 6 schools from southern nations and nationalities, 2 in Addis Ababa. We had also a project site in Tigray, in Afar, in Jeddah, and in Benchang. So in those schools, we are trying to provide training with the stakeholders, extending school community with the local communities, where we involve with the police, where we have involved with the court, where we have involved with the education offices at local level, where we have involved with other stakeholders also, to have one stand together and to push forward. So yes, it is an issue. We are working on this area also.
And students suffering from one form of disability or another, is this something that's being seriously taken by your association as teachers? Inclusive education?
Right, you are inclusive education. I mean, all children whose age requires them to go to school should have that accessibility. And disability children are among those. And they have the right to get, I mean, education is all about right. It's all about, it's becoming human right now. So, I mean, our education system should be accessible to them in all what they want as much as possible. So it is also one of our agenda. We work with the Ministry of Education in this regard. Sometimes they consider us as a public wing. We feel that we are beyond. We feel ourselves that we are public plus because we are also implementers. So this is, yes, it's our agenda, and they have the right to get that access to education.
So looking forward,
yeah,
what is it that you intend to achieve in the next 5 years?
Yes, I mean, this is very broad.
As an association?
As an association, one is to have, I mean, our own income generating capacity improved. This is made through we need to build huge buildings, both at headquarters and at regional level. I mean, that process is underway. This is one thing. At the end of 5 years, we need to have our own big building that is able to generate income, that we need to establish our training institution of our service. We have to train our members. That is one. And secondly, we need to also broadly increase our membership to private institutions, because we have gaps on those areas. And then also our focus area, to have this profession really where it was. I mean, you know, this is a profession we need.
Where it belongs.
Where it belongs. It is a noble profession. And it has to be noble, as it is said, in all its respects, including income, respect from the social community, I mean, the quality of the teachers' training. So this is a big area, and we also need to have the status of teaching profession lifted from what it is now.
Well, Yohannes Benti, good luck, and thank you very much for being here on the show. Thank you very much indeed.